Hello everyone, happy you could be here. Let's dive in. Sit at My Grave, Season 3, Ego's Death, Chapter 24. Please remain buckled in your seats. We will be landing down soon. Arden shifted a bit. The sound of the flight attendant's voice over the intercom startled him awake. This wasn't the first time his sleep had been broken. Any noise he heard close to him had been waking him up. He had been on edge for several reasons, but the most recent was the strange and sudden resentment he began feeling for Emil before he fell asleep. Arden stretched. Sitting up from where he was leaning by the window, he immediately checked his phone in his groggy state. He shook his head. Of course he hadn't got anything. He hadn't even landed yet. He frowned, checking his phone one more time, and then the window. He read up on the place a bit before traveling here. Of course, he wasn't as thorough as he should have been, but there was more to this trip than just seeing how its climate would affect him. He didn't notice his phone's time. It seemed to be contrast to what it looked like outside. He read that it would be roughly a 7-hour difference from where he was. But seeing it in person was strange. It would take his mind a bit to get used to the change, but he wouldn't allow himself too long. Since learning more about what had been going on around him, even before his own involvement, he was starting to realize more and more his own comfort had been too much of a priority for everyone. On the final announcement, the people were being cleared to leave the plane. The fasten seatbelt sign clicked off, and people were starting to stir around, grabbing their carry-ons. One by one, miles of people were getting up and walking out. Chattering started back up. "It looks like this is goodbye," Emil said with Leon, getting Arden's attention. "It's such a shame, but thank you for keeping an old man company. I'm sure my stories are what bored you to sleep." Emil laughed. "They weren't too boring," Arden told him. "Sure, we'd rather not hear some random guy drone on. After what he'd gone through, hearing Emil talk so highly of his close family didn't help in some ways." "Well, I better hurry. I don't want to still be here when they start flying again," Emil joked. He took Arden's hand, shaking it before using his other hand to help himself up. He adjusted his glasses before turning to leave. Arden frowned. He was compelled to talk more to her. He was curious. Why had he seen the symbol? Was it from the same book that he owned now, or someplace else? But there was also something that repelled him. He wasn't sure which to listen to. Last time he resisted what was being whispered into his ear. He saved a man from being thrust into busy traffic. Now he wasn't sure. Could Emil be a help or a hindrance? He was here with next to no clue of where to go next. This was the only person who might have had an inkling of what he was doing. He had to take a chance. The stakes were too high for him to be finicky with who he asked for help. "Emil," Arden said, standing up with him. "Hmm? Yes, young man?" Emil questioned, turning, now clutching his cane for support. "You told me you've seen the cover of my book before?" Arden questioned, stalking closer, eyes squinting with a frown. Did I say that?" Emil asked, leaning on his cane. Arden's air visibly went out in disappointment. The only thing that had been easy for him so far was making stupid mistakes. The slight hope he was wishing for seemed to be crushed. He'd been talking to that old man for nothing. Arden started to push past Emil and leave. If he didn't have any information for him, there was no point in standing around. He'd only be wasting time that didn't belong to him. Yes, I told you, I remember it. I spied my old friend years ago. Me and that Edmund Neely. Yeah, we always had something up our sleeves," Emil laughed. "Please keep the lines moving, guys," the flight attendant said, walking over. "Oops, sorry, ma'am. Thank you for all your service. This flight's been a delight," Emil said, taking his hat off to her. She smiled brightly. "It's been a pleasure, sir," she replied. Emil nodded before walking out. Arden scowled at her as he went after Emil. Distance was created between them as a few others getting off the plane got in front. Arden could feel his body heat in anger. There's always someone in the way, he thought. He had to tense himself to keep from shoving into people as he exited the plane, kept his eyes scanning for Emil. The lines weren't going too quick, but there were a lot of people, all scrambling around to find each other, along getting their luggage once they made it to baggage claim. Arden stood there, pausing for a moment. The lines had dispersed once they were all in baggage claim. He truly wasn't sure what more he could ask Emil about the book, or if his stories would even help his journey. He was desperately trying to connect the dots and grasp at something. The girl to Kafari, that Puka knife he needed was possibly here, as this was the place that Puka seemed to come from. His own speculation, but Josiah had yet to tell him if he was wrong. It also had to be more than a coincidence that the Edela Maledictio was once here too. But the frown, Arden continued to stash around the place looking for a meal. He should be trying to remember what address that book shipped from. Maybe that would lead him down the right path. But then again, just like he said, he was watching the auction 4 years ago. He didn't believe the family of the owner before him were selling the book directly, and Jamil said it belonged to his old family friends. Maybe there was no use in it. There were so many key elements he was missing, so many vacant gaps. Oh, excuse me, I didn't mean to be so slow. Bill began apologizing as Arden bumped into him. He stumbled a bit, catching himself with his cane, blowing out air of relief. You again? I guess my stories really were that interesting. He laughed gleefully. The book. Where did your friend live? Where did you see that book? Arden blurted out. He was eager, desperate for a lead. For so long, it felt like all he'd been doing was sitting around, promising to make good on what he'd done, only to somehow make it all worse. You sure are interested in that book, eh? You remind me of how Edmund said his dad would get, you know? Ooh, he sure didn't like other people to be interested, though. He hated us getting into that study of his. Bill babbled with a yawn as he reminisced again. Arden felt his eye twitched in tandem with the heat igniting in his chest. He was fighting within himself. He wanted this information. He was internally angry. He never liked useless blathering, but this felt almost out of his control. I'm not waiting here all day. Just tell me what you know about where this book's been. Arden practically screamed at the older man. He wanted to know. He wanted something. But at the same time, he was errantly being told to get away from this man, getting angry towards him. His emotions didn't seem like his own sometimes, but then again, whoever felt like themselves when they flew off the handle. I'm trying. If not this, then what? What am I supposed to do? You won't give me anything. Arden wasn't sure if he said it out loud or thought it in his own head. He wasn't even entirely sure who he'd been responding to.